Hi guys, welcome back to the Superbooth 2019. This is day 2. RedStone Productions is visiting the Eve Audio booth. I'm actually with the owner behind all of these beautiful speakers. So
thank you very much.
Could you please tell us a little bit about the range of the speakers you're presenting here?
It's our hometown, so Eve Audio is a Berlin-based company, and of course we show up here with a booth and we show all our speakers here. So we have very small ones. You see here the 203, and the 203 is a little bit different from the other stuff. It's a master-slave system with a passive radiator on the backside, so you don't have to deal with port noise. And you see this orange rubber pad, we call it FlexiPad. With this FlexiPad, you can adjust your speaker depending from the rotation or from the location of this FlexiPad. You have 15 degrees, 7.5 degrees, or vertical version. Inside the speakers, it is the same for all. We use a DSP. And the 203 is a master-slave system. And master-slave because I wanted to have a USB input on this speaker. It is necessary for such small speaker to use it on a laptop directly without any interfaces.
Very, very handy indeed.
SC means silver cone. You see here our silver cone from the woofer. And then we have, in this case, 203. That means two-way system with a 3-inch woofer. This is the 205. It's a two-way system with a 5-inch woofer. An air motion transformer. It's a folded diaphragm with squeezes the air in and out between folding balls. You have a speed transformation. Very high resolution is our own development. Then the bigger ones, SC207. SC208. The differences between these speakers is mainly the frequency range. If you want to have lower frequency range, then you need a bigger woofer. This is the main difference between these models. Special ones, the 3-channel speaker, we have SC305, not here on display at the moment, and we have the 307, double 7-inch woofer. And these woofers are not running in the same frequency response, so it is like a two-way system with an additional subwoofer. And it is difficult to sell left and right speakers, and we did the trick that on the backside you have a dip switch where you can change the
which one is left and right?
The frequency range of the woofer, and this makes it very handy. The bigger ones, 408 here on display, we have also SC407 with two 7-inch, but here we have the bigger ones, the SC480 here on display, two woofers running in the same frequency response. Then we have a dedicated mid-range unit and an air motion transformer. And the special thing here, you can remove these screws and then you can rotate this tweeter mid-range plate by 90 degrees. So easy to change between a horizontal version or a vertical version.
That's great.
The big piece, SC3012, we have also an SC3010 with a 10-inch woofer. Here is a 12-inch woofer, goes very low, 22 Hertz. It's a 3-way system, also with a dedicated mid-range unit and also with the possibility to rotate the tweeter mid-range plate. Also we have subwoofer. Total we have 4 subwoofers, the TS107, TS108, TS110 and TS112. So one channel, of course, you see the number system, 7-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch and 12-inch woofer. Passive radiator on the bottom side, so no port noise. And you have a stereo input and a stereo output, so that means you can go from your source into the subwoofer and then you can go to the satellites. And with the front panel, you can adjust the complete system, what means subwoofer plus satellites. And of course, with the second knob, you can adjust the subwoofer volume independently from the rest. These functions are also accessible via remote control for the subwoofers, so you can easily adjust all levels, all crossover frequencies between the subwoofer and the tweeter. And also you can switch or you can bypass the subwoofer so that you have an unfiltered satellite versus filtered satellite plus subwoofer.
That's great. I see a lot of flexibility. I can see definitely this guy fitting in really small broadcast trucks,
Yes.
these two guys.
Yes.
The fact that you also kind of slaved it, kind of makes it also very accessible to people who are just working with a laptop. You mentioned the USB input, which is extremely handy. The thing that I recognize in all of them is definitely the tweeter design.
Yes.
I also see the silver woofer itself, so that driver as well. And I can see you basically covering the whole range, from super small and portable systems up to the very big guys. It's a 3-way system with a 12-inch woofer. That's fantastic. You were also mentioning this DSP you guys implemented inside all these speakers.
There's a DSP inside. I'm not the one who say DSP is better or analog is better. So the complete system has to be right. And on a way to develop a good speaker, there can be so much wrong. It's not only the decision of the filter network, it is also decision what kind of amps, power supply inside, also the drivers, the complete adjustment. And this is a quite complex thing. And to pick out one part of the speaker and to say, yeah, we use a woofer or we use an air motion transformer, and this is the reason why the speaker has to sound amazing. It's not true. The complete, every component has to be right and has to be mixed in a very good way.
Finely tuned to the exact speaker design and size. All right, that's great.
The DSP allows us to have special functions. So I wanted to have a user interface in the front, so we can easily adjust the volume. Yeah, it's not
very handy.
So revolutionary.
No, but it's very handy. I can tell you that. Sometimes scrolling behind the speakers, try to adjust the sensitivity.
But also with a second mode, we can adjust shell filters, high shell filter, low shell filter, the desktop notch or bass boost for people who want to have a little bit more fun in the bass. Can adjust the brightness of the LEDs. If you have a cinema application, you want to have these bright LED rings, so you can make it dark. And we have two main functions here. The one is volume and the second one is the filters. And on the back side, you have two dip switches where you can lock independently volume and filter settings. So if you have a big studio, a lot of users, students, whatever, then you can say as a main studio technician, I wanted to have the filter settings locked, but users can change the volume. Or I want to have locked both, and then it's locked both. Another interesting feature is if you switch on a studio monitor and there's a very loud signal, you can disconnect the speaker directly from the mains, so you can use the main power switch. And there's one feature, if you connect the speaker again to the main, then you see the volume increases slowly. So, and this helps to run to the master fader if there is something strange going on, or is there a signal on the speakers which is very loud. So
this is brilliant, man. This is such an easy thing to implement, but it's extremely helpful. All of us have suffered from the the big claps, booms whenever you turn it off or you forget. That's great. And also the fact that you can lock both volumes and the filters. You know, I'm a teacher at SAE Amsterdam, where you can imagine there's tons of students getting their hands, and if you provide them the volume knob at the front, they're definitely gonna play with it. But the ability for us as teachers to lock it in place, that's really good. You were also mentioning the subwoofer line, so going from the TS107, if I'm correct, up to the 12, so covering the whole range pretty much. Just wanted to ask you, so there's of course a crossover implemented in this system, so you can work with full range on the satellites.
For the satellites, the crossover frequency is fixed at 80 Hertz, but you can adjust the subwoofer frequency around. The low pass filter of the subwoofer itself goes from 60 Hertz to 160 Hertz and LFE.
To be honest, I see these speakers fitting pretty much all of the needs, from hi-fi situations where I'm home and I just really want to use the remote and enjoy whatever it is going on the TV or whatever I'm watching a movie. But on the other end, you go from super small, super compact, to midfield, almost to mains, I should say, right? This is kind of a big midfield.
This is
and the SPL that these guys can produce, I assume it's pretty high. What kind of amps, for instance, the SC3012 is using? Class D amps you guys using?
It is Class D. In this case, we have here 250 watts, and here we have 800 watts. And it's a lot of headroom and the power, but of course all these drivers are protected by limiters, so there's no danger of breaking the amplifiers.
That's great. Since I'm kind of now really intrigued by these three-way systems, could you maybe tell us real quick what's the street price of these two three-way systems?
The three-way systems, this is one three-way, it costs $999 per piece. This is of course a little bit more expensive, it's $2,000, and this is the big one is $4,200.
And you guys do all of the work in Berlin?
For the bigger ones, we do the final assembly completely in Berlin, so that means this driver is manufactured in-house, and we collect all the components, assemble the amplifiers, and we do the final tests and the long time test. and the same for these 4-channel versions. But every other unit, we bring it from our main manufacturer to Berlin, unpack every unit, do a test, and do the final adjustment to the target curve. And although we have a 24 hours test with the switching procedures, so that we can be sure that the quality is on a very good level. And the frequency response is very important, and we don't adjust the speaker to in a tolerance corridor. We adjust the speaker to a target curve, and then we have really plus minus 0.5 dB or less, and then we can be sure that the speakers sound like we want to have it.
Man, thank you so much.
Thanks
for taking the time to explain us all of the rationale behind this fantastic piece of gear. You're the man behind it, so it's a really, really nice pleasure to meet you. I hope to see you next time. Maybe we can organize a tour of the factory. That would be fantastic to show off how it actually happens.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.